Yesterday I was telling you about my son Jake, who's had to pick his dorm room last night. He had like a 10-minute window. There was two groups. There was a 5:30 group and a 6:30 group. He was in the 6:30 group, and he got the dorm he wanted.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool. And then it was really like this eye-opening moment, like he moves into the dorm in August.
It's really happening.
It's weird.
No,
And
that's sad.
It gets more real and real.
Yeah, and he moves into the dorm like 5 days before school starts. Like, what do you drop him off? And he just parties for 5 days? Like, what do you do for 5 days? I mean, it's just weird, So anyway, that happened yesterday. Also, you know how I get pretty affected by TV?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Pretty.
Pretty affected? Like, I remember when I got into Chris Angel, the magician.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a magician.
You
And then-
did?
Oh, I was doing magic everywhere. I couldn't stop doing it. Everywhere I went, I was pulling out card tricks. I couldn't stop doing magic. I was obsessed, literally obsessed with magic. And then whenever I can't remember the show with Glenn Close where she was a lawyer. What was that called?
Damages.
I wanted to be a lawyer after watching that. And now I want to be in a Haitian gang.
Oh, no.
I'm watching Startup. I'm on season 2. Kyle brought this show up last week, and it's such a good show.
So
How
good.
far are you?
I haven't started season 2 yet.
Oh, you haven't?
Because I stopped because I wanted to catch
Oh, yeah.
up on Mayor of Easttown, and I am in the middle of The Woman in the Window, which is it's number 1 on Netflix right now.
Oh, well, this is called Startup, and it's these 3 people that started this Bitcoin type of company, and there's killings, and there's just whatever. And this one guy, Ronald, is in a Haitian gang, and he's one of the coolest characters I've ever seen on TV. I really, really like him. And I started calling Rich, and I started calling my kids this yesterday, and I was like, "What's up, South Beach?" Because he calls this guy South Beach.
I heard that this morning. I'm like,
What's up, South Beach?
huh.
And then he has these conversations where he chews people out, and he goes, "You feel me? You feel me? So we good?"
But he's like very calm, cool, and collected, but he's like a badass. Like he literally walked into their rival gang's house and killed every single one of them by himself.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then he goes, and he's this great dad, and he's this great husband, but he's the toughest mofo you've ever seen on TV. I just love this guy. Anyway, I'm upset. I didn't want to stop. I can't believe you're not season 2. It's so good. It's a really good show. That's called Startup. And then Peyton wrote down, can Peyton come in here real quick? Is she around? Peyton, can you come in here? Peyton put down that she's watching this TV show, and I feel like we might have talked about it. What's that show you said is the best show you've ever watched in the history of your life?
Oh my gosh, the confession tapes on Netflix.
Have we talked about that?
Wait, that
Confession
sounds
tapes of
familiar.
who? Which serial killer
So
is
it's
it?
like a bunch of different ones, and I watched the first episode. Grant knows what I'm talking about. It is probably the best show I've ever watched in my entire life.
That's such a what we did. Have we talked about
watched it.
We did.
We
What
did.
is it? What is
It's
it?
the one about the hillbilly who admitted to all those murders over a long period of time, and then they found out that he didn't really do any of them.
But there's a bunch of different
Yeah.
ones. So like the first episode that I watched was about these 19-year-old boys who supposedly killed one of the kids' parents. But it depends. Like it makes you think. You don't know who did it, if they did do it, if it was unlawful or not. Like it is so good. And they had people in there who are directly attached to the case. Phenomenal show.
It's not new, or is it new? Or
I
they
don't
keep
think
dropping
it's
new
very
stuff.
new.
It's
No,
not new.
2017.
Oh, 2017.
Okay,
Are
you
you-
guys need to watch it. It is so
Maybe
good.
we
Are
did
you-
watch it. Grant says we watched it, and I'm like, I keep looking at him like I watched it, or you watched it and told us about it.
Yeah, it sounds familiar, but I don't.
It does.
I think you're just missing homework from criminal justice. So this is like doing homework for you.
I
Yeah.
was like trying to
Graduated.
crack the case. I'm like, that is not. You cannot arrest them for
See?
that. That's lying. I was pissed.
All right. Well, I'm in a startup. Kyle's into The Woman in the Window. Peyton's in the confession tapes. And Suzette is 22 weeks pregnant and extremely emotional, right? Well, beyond emotional? Like what?
What? I feel like as soon as I found out I was pregnant, I was pretty emotional. But I like to try to have control of my emotions, especially because I know my hormone levels are crazy right now and I'm pregnant. Everybody warns me about, these moments of attack that I'm going to have. So I try really, really hard to, when I feel myself going there, to kind of separate myself from everyone and just give myself some time. Just relax, breathe. I'm overreacting. I know I am. But there was no controlling that this weekend. There was a moment where I literally cried for 2 hours straight.
No, why?
It was awful. I don't know. It was I think what it was is we were running around all weekend, and I was in my best friend's wedding, and you know that it's an entire day, and we like we hardly get any sleep. So like weekends are usually the time where we can get sleep, and that didn't happen. So by the end of the weekend, I was exhausted, and there was like the emotions of just seeing our best friends getting married. I had that, and then I had guilt last week. I talked about it where I was in town and didn't call my dad to see him, and I felt horrible because it was his birthday a couple weeks ago, and I didn't get to see him this past weekend because he was really sick. And he was like, it's best for you not to come near me because, like, I don't know what I have. I could have COVID, and I don't want to get you sick. So there was that, and then there was a friend that bought us like one of the first people that bought us like baby clothes and shoes, and now I'm getting like all kinds of stuff, from family and friends that have been posting it on social media, and I didn't post their stuff when they gave it to us. And they were like pretty upset. They told like a friend, and then that friend told me, and I was like, I feel awful. Like sometimes I don't think about it. Like if I'm in the moment, I'll post it, and some things like I don't post. I don't really.
So you started crying?
So I started crying. I cried over so many things. I went down the list because my husband, Mr. Baby, is like, can you just talk to me? Because he's watching me cry, and he's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. Like help me. At least tell me what you're thinking. Like, what's your thinking process right now? So I told him everything, the whole list, and he was just like terrified. He didn't know what to say.
But you're crying going over the list?
Yeah.
It's kind of a lot of stuff. Like those are a lot of emotions to pile up, especially when you are, you have those extra hormones in your body. But I think even without it, that's kind of a lot to take on.
See, you're talking to a woman who's been pregnant twice.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
Well, so I remember the first time that I left my house after having Addie, and that, like, for me, the hormones were way out of control after, like right after I had Addison. And I left my house for the first time, and I was like, I'm going to go finally do something for myself. I'm going to go get my nails done.
Oh.
And the two nail techs in there were like yelling, they were screaming at each other, they were fighting. And I just like left, and I just like went in my car. I was just crying. Like, I just wanted a peaceful moment by myself.
Oh, that's coming, Suzette. That's coming for you.
That wasn't even anything serious that I lost it. You're dealing with family stuff, your dad being sick, guilt of not seeing him, and your friend, like all those are big emotions to tackle.
Yeah, and I think that was my problem. I let it all like pile up, and I was holding it in, and I just let it out.
What if it's a placebo? Like she just said, I've heard that you have all the emotions after the baby's born. You're having all the emotions now.
No, don't.
Like
say
what if
that.
it's all this is just you're having this is just normal life, and now you're just finally like accepting it. You're just not used to
No.
yeah.